This EV adventure is brought to you by Omaze. Visit omaze.com/outofspec to learn more. Hello and welcome from beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. You join me here with the Volkswagen ID.4 and we are in for an adventure, friends. So I just flew in from, where was I? North Carolina. Just finished up a Mach-E Model Y road trip with my friend EV Dave. We're here in Phoenix. We're going on a road trip in the ID.4, and it's not just you and me who's going on a road trip. It's going to be you, me, as well as some of the Volkswagen USA e-mobility people. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to meet the people behind the ID.4, talk about how the car was designed, engineered, why it came to be, and of course I have this awesome car. Let me show you around. We're going to sleep here at this hotel, and then in the morning we're going on an adventure. I also need a haircut, I realize. This is my ride for the next few days. It is a 2021 Volkswagen ID.4 First Edition. It has the large battery, 77 kilowatt hours usable, rear wheel drive. It's got almost every option on it, again being a First Edition, but it is not the all-wheel drive version. Now that's perfectly fine because where we are, it's nice and warm and great and perfect. Look at how good this thing looks in blue. Now, I have spent time with other ID.4s now, and they've been really awesome. You know, I'm a big fan of this car, but there are a couple things I'm looking forward to seeing how work on the road trip, such as navigation, route planning, etc. We're going to be testing all of this out. Tomorrow, we're going to Joshua Tree, and look at this thing. It looks so good. Let me show you inside. Bear with me for the wind. A little windy. Here's the inside of the ID.4. Of course, you can change all the colors around. They're set to white. We'll have to play around with the settings. This one has the black seats. The other one I tested had the white seats. I actually prefer the lighter interior, but this doesn't look bad at all. Awesome glass roof, of course. This is going to be such a cool trip. We are charged up to 235 miles. Let's see what that is in percent. Where do I go? Vehicle, maybe up to charging. That would make sense. 93%, which is awesome. Volkswagen recommends an 80% daily limit. That's awesome. This is just how they dropped it off at the airport for me. Volkswagen was pretty nice, and yeah, they had it full charged waiting for me. So yeah, we don't need to charge tonight, but my friends from VW are on their way over here. They're on a cross-country road trip in ID.4, and they were like, dude, Kyle, you got to come join us. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll meet you in Arizona. Just get me a car. And here we are with the car in Arizona. What we're doing is we're in this parking garage because there are some car chargers. Not that we need to charge. We'll make it to Buckeye, Arizona in the morning. We're going into, again, Joshua Tree. We're going to need a full charge for that adventure, of course. Not much charging in Joshua Tree. But the guys from Volkswagen, my friend Dustin and his whole crew, they're shooting a documentary on this trip, and they need to charge up. So I went down, 6 levels below us or whatever level we're on. And unfortunately, there's a Tesla Model 3, imagine this, blocking a J1772 charging port not plugged in. So the guys actually can't charge because of this silly Tesla owner. Here, let me show you, and let me show you who not to be. So you can see here behind me, there's a really nice silver P85 Plus driven all the way from Florida out here. At least it's on Florida tags. And then we have this Model 3 owner. As more people are buying electric vehicles, I've noticed more people blocking chargers, not understanding the true etiquette. Also, it looks like they left something on their windshield. Let's take a look. All right, let's see what this is. Honestly, don't feel bad. Oh, this is funny. It says not cool to park here, not charging. Love it. Definitely got to leave that there. That is a good message for sure. Let's take a look over this way. So we have one wall connector on this Model S charging. I'm guessing it was them. And then this J1772 port, meaning not that I need to charge this, but that Dustin can't charge his ID.4. So yeah, don't be that guy. We're gonna be off to some good adventures. Dustin's charging up at the EA station enough to get to Buckeye. So we'll both arrive, full charge both the cars in the morning. We'll be good, but still would have saved us probably 30 minutes tomorrow if we were able to charge it here. Well, perhaps I found a solution. I need to check with the hotel staff to see if they can park like this, but definitely no sign saying you can't actually park there. I don't know, it's not in a designated spot, but it does reach. Definitely a benefit of putting the longest possible cables on your chargers, just in case something like this happens. If you were at zero, at least you could get energy into the car. So we'll see if we are allowed to park here. I'll check. My guess is no, and we'll just charge up at the EA, but good to know, and a good tip to always put the longest charging cables on in the parking lot spaces. For example, if this Equinox wasn't here, we'd be able to park there, of course. Taking a minute to thank our friends at Omaze for making EV road trips and adventures like this possible. If you follow our link, omaze.com/outofspec, you could donate and enter for a chance to win a Tesla Model S upfitted and modified by the awesome guys at Unplugged Performance. You all know how awesome the Model S performance is, and Unplugged Performance has gone through and done everything from their UP03 wheels to the S Apex carbon fiber wide body kit. This thing is bad to the bone. And you'll also be able to drive away with $20,000 in cash. This is incredible. What would you do with the 20 grand when you win the Model S from Unplugged Performance? Every donation using our omaze.com/outofspec link supports the charity Give Power. Give Power is on a mission to help the roughly 2.2 billion people in this world without clean drinking water. And remember, for your chance to win the Tesla Model S upfitted and customized by Unplugged Performance, that thing is so rad, and $20,000 in cash, all while supporting a great cause, use the link omaze.com/outofspec and donate. It is now the morning in Phoenix, Arizona. I guess we didn't have to wake up as early as I thought we did because Joshua Tree is only like 200 something miles. So we're gonna meet some people there at around 1 p.m. It's currently 6:45 in the morning. Let's get packed up, load up the ID.4s, and rock and roll. Last night, something awesome happened where you guys saw how that Model 3 blocked that charging spot, and I pulled up to see if Dustin could charge his ID.4, and turns out the silver Model S, follower on Twitter, awesome dude, and he moved his car so we could charge the ID.4 tonight. Apparently he's staying here for multiple days and was charged up enough. He's like, oh dude, I'll come down and move my Model S. So nice, really cool. So let's load up, head out, and start this pretty awesome adventure. Well, good morning, here she is. Here's our new friend's car and another Model S here. And let's hit the unlock. Awake she goes. Let's load up. Well, we've hit the brake and the car turns on. You just rotate this in the drive. I've already set up all my settings. The one thing I want to do is reset our trip calculations. So let's go over here to data and let's hit 0 out on everything. Since start, long term, 0, 0. And there we go. Let's rock and roll, guys. Into B mode for regenerative braking. We're charged up nearly full. And off we go in the awesome ID.4. Take a look at this turning radius, by the way. Just one of the best turning radiuses of any car. And here's our partners here, ready to rock and roll. Looks like we're gonna head over to Starbucks and let's follow them over there. They've been going cross country in their ID.4 for like 15 days or something like this. So this here's the infotainment. It does some cool things. You can pretty much swipe from off screen to on screen, back and forth, which is pretty neat. You have your temperature controls here. And in a previous review, I was complaining about the lack of heated seat buttons. Basically, you need to go into this menu here and then you hit the seat. This is actually not the case. Take a look at this. If you're just cruising around here and you want to adjust your heated seats, all you do is double tap. And you can tap, tap, tap with 2 fingers right there on this haptic or this touch-sensitive board here. And that way you don't have to pull up a separate menu. Pretty neat. Loving all the little tricks I'm learning about this car. There are plenty. For example, you can hold the rear button down. It'll roll up and down all of the windows at the same time. Hey, this is pretty cool. I love the ID.4 just because it's so happy and fun, and really cool that my buddy Dustin invited me along on this drive. They have an Atlas support vehicle. That's the film crew in there. And yeah, they've just been cruising across the country in that ID.4. It has almost 7,000 miles on it right now. Pretty awesome. Beautiful morning here in Arizona. Sun's hitting the mountains over there. It's going to be a gorgeous drive. We're going to do, again, a full charge in Buckeye. We're going to stop at some stations just outside of the park, just outside of Joshua Tree. And yeah, it's just going to be freaking awesome. I guess we're heading over to Starbucks. Whoa, it's crazy bright out. We got our Starbucks. The whole team's got their Starbucks, which is great. We have Dustin and Todd and 2 guys, awesome dudes in the Atlas over there. They're filming the documentary out of that, as I mentioned. So let's plug in the Buckeye charger. We're going to charge there till we're below 50 kilowatts. And then we're going to run to another station that's 50 kilowatts right at the park entrance. And that's where we're going to top up for the day. Let's do it. Welcome to the Electrify America station in Buckeye, Arizona. I've activated this charger again. ID.4 comes with 3 years of free charging on EA. So when you charge it here, it costs nothing, which is pretty neat. So we're charging up the ID.4. We're actually pretty high. We're at close to 85, 90%. What we're gonna do here is charge up, not too much, but get it up to maybe 90, 95% until where it tapers really low. And then we're gonna head to another station just outside of the park to top up for the rest of the day. But these two are looking pretty good going down the road. So neat to see another ID.4. And it's so neat to see other people check out these two going down the road. This is my buddy Dustin. You've been road tripping ID.4 now for what, 6,500 miles?
Yeah, just over 6,000 miles.
And how's it been going so far? You started where? And now we're in Buckeye, Arizona, of all places.
Yeah, we went across the country the long way, I'd say. We started in New York, moved down to Washington, D.C., then over to Chicago. We went through like Amish country, did all kinds of wild things there, down through Louisville, then Atlanta, Savannah, Jacksonville. We've been everywhere,
Dude,
and
it's
awesome. Been a blast.
And so yours is the same as the car I'm driving, which is ID.4 First Edition, and long range, so extended range, 77 kilowatt hour usable, rear wheel drive, of course. And how's battery pack capacity, charging? Because it does 125 kilowatt, but for a long time.
Yeah, it's been great. We haven't really worried about range or charging at all. The Electrify America network covers great. We haven't exactly been hypermiling either. I know today we're going to go a little bit more to the limit, so we'll look at maybe a little bit more reasonable driving in terms of that. But we've been driving it just like you would on an internal combustion car across the country. We've been adventuring along the way. We've done some pretty decent detours. We went to Marfa, Texas. I turned into a cowboy. It's been just a blast.
Dude, that's so rad. And can't wait to go see what we're getting ourselves into today. But I think we're going to see some nice views.
Absolutely. Cool. Let's get started.
So let's talk ID.4 charging curve. And so we're not really optimizing right now. You can see we plugged in at 86%. We're only doing 28 kilowatts, which really isn't bad for a cold battery on a fresh day at high state of charge. However, ID.4 from 0 to basically 30%, or 40% will do 126, 127 kilowatts. Doesn't really shred on the peak speed, but sustains it really nicely throughout the charging session. And then it falls very, very nicely. So, while it doesn't have the peak speeds as quoted by like Mustang Mach-E, for example, Mustang Mach-E falls off the ledge. This can sustain that power pretty deep into the pack, which makes this an actually pretty good road tripper, as Dustin's proving. We are now charged up to 100% on both the cars. We didn't intend to, but we got carried away with conversation, but that's okay. More juice to burn along the way to Joshua Tree. So let's load these things up, head out on a beautiful adventure across Arizona. We are now fully topped up and 189, 190 miles or so to our next charging stop, which is going to be a 50 kilowatt CCS station, obviously, and it's a charge point unit, one of the Tritium 50 kilowatt units. There's 2 of them, one across the street from each other, so we can charge both cars up for Joshua Tree stuff. And yeah, just gonna have a beautiful cruise across Arizona, heading over to Indio, California. So I want to make something a little bit clear. I am in no way sponsored, paid by Volkswagen. I paid my flight out here. I paid for my own hotels. They were nice enough to offer, but I covered everything on my own. So, all I'm doing is I just grabbed an ID.4 press card. I'm just joining their team. So, if I knock the ID.4 here or there, it'll deserve it. But generally, you guys know I love the ID.4, and that's because it's truly a great car for its intended purpose, which is being a road tripper, and that's what we're doing. So let's talk about what it takes to be a good EV road tripper. Well, first off, you need really good highway efficiency, and that I have no clue. I haven't tested the ID.4 yet. So the car's predicting 251 miles right now, which is more than EPA, and I've been driving on the highway for a bit, so maybe it actually is pretty good. We'll see. I haven't done a 70 mile per hour range test yet, but so far my gut feeling says it's pretty efficient, well over 3 miles per kilowatt hour, driving it pretty quickly. And the other thing you need is a really quiet cabin and a comfortable vehicle, and so the suspension calibration's awesome. I think we'll actually put the car into eco mode for this leg because we have a pretty far stretch. So let's try out the eco mode. What that does is it elongates the throttle pedal, so I kick the kick down switch and it accelerates a little bit, and then there's a little detent that I can push down all the way to get full power. And, you know, the ID.4 is pretty quick. A lot of people say it's not. I disagree. I think how much more do you really need? It's faster than any CRV, RAV4, you name it. This thing is pretty quick. So, you know, I love the comfort of this car, the quietness of the cabin. You drive down the highway, it's almost like an e-tron in here. It's just dead quiet. So, yeah, I think this could be a pretty good road tripper. We'll have to see how that highway efficiency is. I know the charging curve is great and the peak speeds are more than acceptable, but not as stellar. So 125 kilowatts, but it can sustain for a long time. So let's see how this trip goes. The other thing that I have going in the ID.4 are awesome massaging seats. So while it doesn't like have the individual balls that roll up and down your back that are hot stone massage, it has air bladders in the backrest on these first editions and really any Volkswagen with the 12-way seats. And it just makes it so much easier. These seats are really stellar for a road trip so far. I mean, I've been in the car for a couple hours now and it's been real nice. We're now cruising down the highway on Volkswagen's Travel Assist, which is neat. It'll show you cars in other lanes. It's really kind of a good system. So we're cruising behind that ID.4 in front of us, and man, take a look at that plane over there. That thing is so rad. What is that? Is that like a dude with a freaking jetpack on his back? What the hell? That's crazy. Anyway, yep, cruising along on Travel Assist. You can see the other cars going by. The steering wheel's a capacitive touch wheel, so it knows when I'm touching the wheel, and just really an awesome freaking drive, folks. This is great. Just cruising. The car's doing lane centering. Gotta love it. We have stopped halfway over to Joshua Tree, and look at this. The Atlas, the support vehicle, needed the juice, but the Volkswagens are still, I should say the ID.4s, they're all Volkswagens, are still chugging along just fine. Been a really smooth blast. It looks like we're gonna come into some serious wind here in the next few miles. We have plenty of extra buffer of charge to use up in case we get a little bit of extra headwind, but it's mostly gonna come from the side. So it'll be interesting to see how Travel Assist does with lane centering with a big side wind, big crosswind. But yeah, gotta say, this blue looks good, but I don't know. I'm thinking kind of gray or white might be my color. I was thinking blue originally, but this, I don't know. Looks good, a lot of good colors. We've stopped here in the windy desert and just taking some pictures of the cars. It looks pretty good for sure. Guys, check this out. Obviously the highway's just over there, but for whatever reason, you can't hear it. We're trying to listen for any of the noises of the cars going by, and it's dead silent. Take a look at this Atlas too. It looks great in the R trim for sure. What a good looking car. The thing's a workhorse. I know it's crazy windy, but these things are awesome as well. Love that. Well, we have reached 40 miles indicated state of charge. I'd see 19%. So we're down below 20%. We're only about 15 minutes away from the charger, and we stopped and did a whole bunch of detours. Saw really cool, lots of things. So yeah, even with this side wind, gotta say, this is doing pretty well. Not extreme range, but plenty, of course, to get across the desert. And this is one of the hardest spots to get across here because Electrify America hasn't opened up their quartzsite charger. So we basically had to skip a planned charging stop to get out this way, but no problem. We're going to charge up on some 50 kilowatt units it'll probably take us an hour and 10 minutes to charge them all the way up. And then we're going to be exploring Joshua Tree for the rest of the day. Taking the exit here for our charger. We're at 31 miles, 14% state of charge. Proper road tripping here, but yeah, maybe it's not. Proper road tripping would be pulling in at 0%, right? Out of spec style. So let's head over to, there's two different chargers, I believe, across the street from one another. And then this playground in front of us is just that. It will be our playground for the day. Joshua Tree National Park, beautiful views. So let's go do it. Situation number one, we have a charger blocking, two cars blocking the charger. Yep. And now we're gonna see if we can try the other one. I'll let those guys figure that situation out. Let's see if we can get over to this other one. So here's the Tritium 50 kilowatt charger. We've arrived. Let's open up the charging flap, pull this thing off, and in we go. And we're gonna let this one charge up. And now we're gonna figure out how we charge the other one up. Oh, looks like that truck moved, so they're able to charge. Sweet. This is pretty good. And we are charging. These older Tritium units just scream with this high-pitched electrical noise, super annoying, but we are getting pretty good speeds into the car. 119 miles per hour of rated range added over 1 hour. And yep, charging up just fine. So we just ran into this guy who has an ID.4 on order, huge Volkswagen fan, of course, and he's checking out the ID.4s here. There's a lot of people that want to see the cars, of course. It's actually pretty amazing how many people were taking pictures of us. You can see here people checking us out this way, all around. Pretty neat. And check this out. A new friend of mine that I met through one of the Facebook groups sent this out for a shoot, which is just so awesome. So we are taking it off the trailer here, and we're going to get some shots of it with the ID.4s. The ID.4s are back at the Chargers. We took the Atlas over here to take delivery of this thing, and it's just going to be so cool. All right, so I got the Atlas. We're ready to rock and roll. Dude, Todd looks so good in that thing. That is so rad. Oh, that's a new Corolla hatch with a manual, perhaps. Pretty neat, XSE. So this is a classic Myers Minx, and I wanted a classic Volkswagen product, or at least a modified Volkswagen product, to come alongside ID.4 because it's our first day in California, and I thought the Volkswagen team would really appreciate some kind of classic Volkswagen, you know, California heritage mobile, and that's exactly what this is. When you think of California, this is on the freaking postcard. So cool. So really, thanks to my friend. I'll keep him anonymous in case he wants his name shared around. If he does, I'll put his Instagram in the description of this video. But so cool to just be able to share this with the Volkswagen team and have a good day with it out here at Joshua Tree. We got the Westfalia, we got the buggy, we got the ID.4, we got the Zero van.
We got it all.
We got it all. And the Atlas, the trusty Atlas. That's really the true highlight of this video.
We're out here in Joshua Tree, about to have way too much fun. My name's Fred. I work for Zero. I'm the dealer marketing manager at Zero. And well, let's just see what we got in the van.
Yeah, basically I just called you guys the other day. I was like, you should probably bring some bikes out because we're gonna have a good EV day. And you brought the whole freaking marketing van.
I brought the gamut. We gotta have options.
Holy crap.
So we've got an SRF, a DSR, and an FX.
All electric, of course, and if you guys are interested, we'll have full in-depth reviews on much of the Zero lineup on our Out of Spec Reviews channel, so stay tuned. But of course, in this video, we're gonna shred these things around and have a good time. So the guys were kind enough to grab my car off the charger. It's fully charged. We got the ID.4 in front of us. We got the Myers Minx behind us. We got the Atlas behind them, and then we have the guys in the Zero Sprinter van behind them. This is like the ultimate day here in the desert. Look how gorgeous it is here in Joshua Tree. We're gonna do some exploring, then we're gonna get out the bikes.
I think it'd be great to get some shots of the SRF.
Yeah, daylight, SRF, pavement ride. I think you pull that out.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. So we have some awesome trails out here through Joshua Tree. They say it's four-wheel drive only, but you guys know me. We're gonna take the ID.4 down there, see how far we can get it without getting stuck. Worst case, we have the support vehicle to pull us out, but I think we can do it. We just gotta keep the momentum up, power high. Unfortunately, no way to turn off traction control, but I think we'll just use the momentum game. So we have the awesome DSR with a 14.4 kilowatt hour battery pack, big power, meaty bike. And we have the FX over here with a smaller battery pack, but still a freaking shredder. Definitely a lot lighter for sure. Half the battery pack capacity means you lose quite a bit of weight, so it should be much more agile. And then there's an SR somewhere over there. So you just went for a rip.
It's the most amazing thing ever.
So you rode the FX.
Rode the FX. It was more fun than you can have with your pants on.
And we just had that too.
I mean, that's fun. That's fun, but this is a whole different thing. You get the scenery, you're just out.
It's a good day.
It's a good day.
It's a good day. Oh. Gorgeous drive, gorgeous views. Sun is strong. Man, Joshua Tree is beautiful. This is really neat. Take a look at all these cacti. These things are, aren't they? Really neat. What a cool drive. Dustin, how are you enjoying that thing?
It's excellent. You know, it's cool because today I think we're really getting in touch with VW Heritage. We've hung out with Westies, off-road Beetles. We've got the Myers-Manx here, 2 ID.4s. I mean, it's just what a day. What a day. What do you think?
It's been incredible. This thing is so much fun.
And then
The ID.4s are handling it like a champ.
Yeah, we were shredding those things.
I know, we had a lot of fun.
Gorgeous views up here in Joshua Tree, of course. Take a look at these rocks. Awesome views from the road as well. Doesn't really get better than this. Just enjoying the drive, enjoying the camaraderie, great people, awesome cars, awesome bikes. The Zeros are shredding. I'm gonna hop on one here in a second and go give it back with a little less rubber on the tire. And we are reaching sunset at the end of the day, leaving Phoenix early this morning, ending here in Joshua Tree National Park with 2 awesome ID.4s, the trusty Atlas, 0 motorcycles, of course the Myers-Manx, and just an awesome day and an awesome place with awesome people. Doesn't get better than this as the sun goes over the ridge right there. Really great.
How was that?
Even better.
I asked him if he wanted to switch back and he was like, no, I'm cool.
Isn't that thing mental though?
I had on eco and I had it at full throttle. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta put it in sport and crank it.
Hell no.
Out
cruising on these dirt roads.
Oh, I know. You keep thanking me. I'm just like, God, thanks for having us out, man. I'm so happy to do this stuff. One perfect day in the desert.
properly riding the zero here. We got it down to 0%, right at the van. Nice work. Well, with the sun officially set and the stars up in the sky, we've had one hell of a day. Seriously, guys, just a blast. And, you know, we're not stretching the range of these cars. We're just out here having a good time. They're shooting their documentary. It's so great for them to have me along. And, dude, this has just been so fun. So fun. And this that ID.4 has been through a lot. This ID.4 has kind of been through a lot too. Apparently this is the one Tanner's been drifting around the ice track, and they shipped it out for us to take on this adventure. So thank Volkswagen for sending this car all the way to Phoenix for us to take for this video. Super nice. So there goes my new friend Ramon in the Taycan Turbo S. It is the next day. He drove over from Colorado. Doesn't live far from me, actually. And so cool of him to watch our stuff. Here we are with the ID.4 at Electrify America. Let's take a look. I had to actually wait for Ramon to finish charging. That's how we got to talking, because this charger says unavailable. Yep. And this one on the far end says unavailable. Let's take a look. Just ran the ID.4 through a car wash. Looking good. Yep, this one broken too, I believe. Yep. So we just have this one 350 that's up and running. So we're going to charge on that. And let's get this thing hooked up. Again, 3 years of free charging for ID.4. And I'll explain what we're doing today and why we're starting our day off at the charger. There we go. Contactors are clicking. Juice is starting to flow. It's ramping up cable cooling. We have about 30%, maybe 25% state of charge, something like that. I haven't actually looked, but yeah, not more than half, that's for sure. And last night, man, we just went into Joshua Tree, had a blast late at night, and just got super tired. We all came back to the hotel here in Indio, California, and the guys had to wake up early to go for an interview in Los Angeles at a charging station. I was going to go, however, we have the Myers-Manx, the little green buggy that needs to get picked up on a transporter, and I didn't really feel comfortable just leaving the keys with the front desk. I said, you know, I'll just stick around with it. And so now I'm just killing some time. I went to Starbucks, got the car washed, over here charging it up, and we'll just charge it up all the way until the trailer comes, I guess. May as well get the juice. We'll use it throughout the day. Many things can happen today. Who knows what will, but let's get this thing charged up and head on to a pretty good adventure. Yesterday has to be one of the most epic days ever. Just a blast hanging out in Joshua Tree. And so we're at 28% state of charge, doing 98 kilowatts. The reason it's not doing 125 kilowatts is it's the morning, right? So battery pack's a little chilly. It was down into the 50-degree temps last night. It is warming up pretty quickly today, but ID.4 probably needs to be around 75 degrees Fahrenheit battery pack temp to charge at 120 kilowatts. But 100's not bad. And again, we're not in a rush. And again, it's free charging. So how much can you really complain here? Not bad. And looks like a Mustang Mach-E is pulling in, looking for the chargers over there. But good news, because the tow truck just arrived to pick up the buggy. So we're at 40% state of charge. Didn't take long, so I'm going to unplug, let this Mustang pull in, and solve the problem. That thing looks good in white. Turns out those Mustang folks, awesome. That's an extended range rear-wheel drive. They watch all our videos. You know, more and more people we're running into now, whenever we go to charging stations. There's another Mach-E in front of us, a red one actually. Crazy, so many people watch our videos. It's so neat. And what's crazy is our channels are small, but they have quite a big impact, I think. So if you ever see us around, don't hesitate to say hey. You know, from my side, it's just it's great to meet people who are interested in the same stuff as us. Anyway, let's run over and load this buggy up. Got her all loaded up on the transporter. Man, does that thing just start up. First kick in the morning. Super nice, runs great. And yeah, sad to see it go, but man, Michael, the owner, I'll link to his Instagram. I think he says it's okay. I don't know. Michael Potiker, what a freaking rad dude, just to let us have this thing for the last day. So neat, so neat. And yeah, that one's signed by Bruce Meyer as well. He just passed away, unfortunately, but really a nice tribute that we were able to bring that with the new ID.4s. So with that said, we have, let's see, 121 miles of projected range. That's around 40% state of charge, it looks like. Let's head over to LA. We'll stop at a charger along the way. The nice thing about California, there's plenty of chargers wherever you go. We are about 17 miles away from our next charging stop there in Desert Center, California. I've been to that charger before. We actually pulled into a Taycan completely dead once. After it had shut off, we coasted in at like way under 0%. Anyway, I love Travel Assist because you can go over here and see your directions. And then this is also based off of CarPlay. It's very rare to find a car that can do CarPlay directions here in the infotainment. And it'll also show you, like I showed you yesterday, other cars. It distinguishes trucks and motorcycles as well, which is pretty neat. And just cruising along here on Travel Assist. I forget what it's really called. IQ Drive, who knows? Travel Assist, I think. Anyway, forget the silly names. It does great lane centering. That's what you need to know. And going through all the different generations of windmills. As you go farther forward, you get newer gen of these windmills. You can see the older ones here, and then they built bigger ones, and it's super neat. Got some solar under there. Love this part of California. It's such a great drive, and it's pretty much constantly uphill over the mountain pass and then a steep downhill. Sounds like there was an accident ahead, and yeah, that's pretty interesting to see how the travel assistant does in stop and go traffic. And so far it's been like doing its thing, just creeping along. I will say, after it comes to a stop, I don't know if it's 30 seconds or less, but it definitely asks you to hit the resume button right here to get it to start back up again. Most systems do. I think the only one that doesn't is autopilot in a Tesla. And that is honestly pretty nice that it doesn't ask you. Here, you kind of have to like keep your eye out to see if the car moves forward and then say, yep, hit resume. Anyway, lots of emergency vehicles coming up all around through here. I can see them coming up in the rear view. We'll make sure to get out of their way if they come up our lane. And it's got to say, great air conditioning. It's just a comfortable car to cruise in. And honestly, with this system, traffic's no problem. And here's the culprit right here. Damn, that is a hard hit. And who hit who? It looks like no major front end damage on any of these cars, so they must have started towing away some. Dang, well, road is opened up, wide open throttle. Here we go. All right, here we are at the Desert Hills outlet. Finally made it. It's finally some signage up too. Maybe it was there, I don't know. I remember Timon and I had to push a Taycan 4S around this parking lot almost just to get it to the chargers, but I think they're just on the other side. And so, yeah, let's head on down this way and plug in. Now, the superchargers were full. It had extra superchargers, like the ones that come on pallets, the urban chargers, and there was still a line. Like, crazy amount of Teslas charging out here today on the weekend. So let's hope the Electrify America station is at least free and clear for us to use. Wow, this thing takes the bumps pretty well, gotta say. ID.4 rides like an e-tron, but costs half the price. That is super impressive. All right, let's run over to the fast chargers, which are somewhere. Now I'm lost, oh no. And they were just around the corner. I wasn't lost. I was on the right path. That's what kind of, I think, screwed us up last time. All right, we have EVgo. We have Electrify America all in one site. Looks like we have an i3 and a Bolt charging. We have a Ionic charging. Pretty neat. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to nose in next to the spot with the Ionic because we have the rear connection thing going on here. Let's see what we can get to work here. We get 3 years of free charging here, so let's do it. I know I keep saying that, but it's a pretty big deal. So this Ionic looks like it's at 86%. This charger wouldn't work. Just said it was in use when it's not. So I've moved over here to charger number 2, and it looks like it's initiating and working just fine. This Bolt is charging up, of course, which is looking good. And oh wait, they have faulted out or finished charging, so they're just plugged in, collecting idle fees, I hope at least. That bedazzled license plate holder though, dang. So let's let this thing charge up. We'll hang out here. So we plugged in at 19%, getting 127 kilowatts. That long uphill stretch paired with the warm weather has heated this thing up enough. Ooh, new 7 Series with a giant front grille. Yikes. I do not like that. Anyway, let's charge up here. So we're going to charge up here for a bit, maybe 70, 75%, something like this. And I'm going to run in, grab some food. And hopefully there's food here. There's a ton of people around. I'm sure there's food somewhere. Then we're going to Santa Monica. We're going to play around with some more cool cars today. It sounds like Volkswagen's pulling some cars out of the collection. Can't wait. We are charged up to 86% state of charge. Met some really nice people in a Bolt. They actually couldn't charge, and I don't know why, because I just walked over there and held the app. I think their issue was on some bolts you need to lift up on the charging handle a little bit for the communication pins to touch, so I just lifted up on the handle and got them charging. So they're all good. Man, so many weird little problems with EV charging. I just don't see this whole thing making its way to mass adoption. It's really fun for us techie folks, but man, there's just so many things to think about. Anyway, heading out here, off to Los Angeles. Let's do it. Off to Venice. Back on the road and into more traffic, doing 30 miles an hour. We have 101 miles to our destination. Let's rock and roll. Cruising along, beautiful views today, gorgeous day, 80 degrees and sunny. Couldn't ask for anything better. Car's predicting huge range, over 250 miles on a full charge. And that's on the guessometer, that's based off our driving. And yeah, doesn't get better than this. Cruising behind that Tesla in front of us that is debadged and has a red Tesla logo and is dirty. So cool, I guess. Glass roof doesn't look like it fits very well, does it? Look at that top right. You can fit almost your whole finger in there. But that's all right. Every car has quality issues. I actually am one of the ones who thinks Tesla's quality is pretty good, personally. Never really had a bad one. Welcome to LA. Traffic, at least. It's been kind of busy the whole time, as usual. We're heading over towards the ocean. Let's see what happens. And it is now the next morning in Los Angeles. You see, we got here last night and then I just had to blow through some work, but we had a blast. So the plan was to bring out some classic Volkswagens from their collection. They had a Thing and a classic Beetle and a bus maybe. It would have been so neat, but for whatever reason, they couldn't get the cars coordinated in time. So we ended up just hanging out here at the hotel, got a great dinner down in Venice, had a really nice time just to wrap up the trip with a relaxing day. I also shot a really neat interview with Dustin Kraus, Director of E-Mobility for Volkswagen. So make sure you head to Out of Spec Reviews to check that out because he shares some tidbits about how this car came to be, which I think is pretty interesting. Anyway, let's close that charging flap. We're charged up to 80%, the recommended percentage for the ID.4. We're gonna drop this off at the parking spot at the airport, and then I gotta fly home to Denver. Again, a huge thanks to Omaze for sponsoring this trip. Visit omaze.com/outofspec to learn more.